You might be at rock bottom in a really, really hurting place, but you also might be in a really fabulous place, but you want to get to that next level with ease and with joy and with delight and being dazzled all along the way. We want to enhance that experience, all right? So this approach will work regardless of where you are in your journey. Hello, prosperity seekers, and welcome to another episode of the Prosperity Approach podcast. Today, I want to take a deep dive into what the prosperity approach actually is. You know, it sounds cute and all, but what does that really mean, the prosperity approach? How can I actually apply that in my life? And so let's take a deep dive into that, shall we? First, a backstory. When we got back from Hawaii and I was instructed to write down everything that I did with my inner game that led to manifesting Hawaii so joyfully, with so much ease, with so much flow and so many miracles, I realized I had cracked the manifesting code. And then of course I wanted to take it one step farther because I hadn't reached a level of mastery yet to where we could get money coming in consistently every month through my business. I realized though that having documented what I did I hate to say there's a right and a wrong way with manifesting or with redesigning your reality, but there are certainly ways that I prefer to create my reality rather than over other ways that I have created my reality in the past. And so it became very clear to me that there's a prosperity approach to life and there's also a scarcity approach to life. And so what helped me to get really clear on what the prosperity approach was to first get really clear on the scarcity approach. So perhaps you can relate to the scarcity approach. The scarcity approach is that sniveling, begging, pleading, longing, yearning, wanting, feeling victimized, feeling powerless, trying to believe but not really believing, filled with fear and doubt and aloneness, but please let me live the life I came here to live. I used to pray this way. Oh, Heavenly Father, please save us from this financial ruin. Oh, please save my business. Oh, please save my children. Oh, please save my marriage. I don't want things to go wrong. This is what a lot of people do. So we're praying and we're doing like these Hail Mary, like last ditch approach with prayer of wanting God to swoop down and just rescue us from everything, which he can do. You know, God is an 11th hour God. But guess what? He's also a first hour God, and he's a third hour God, and a fourth hour God. We tie his hands, so to speak, when we are so filled our minds with those images of what we don't want and the emotion behind what we don't want, that it makes it really, really hard for him to get through. I don't know about you, but those nudges that I get for the most part are very subtle. They're whispers. They're very easily dismissed because they come in my own voice, with my own vocabulary and cadence, and they don't come as commands. They come as ideas and even just little whispers of ideas, like suggestions. You might try this. And when we are so filled with fear and that chatter that's going on all the time, the anxiety, the angst, the doubt, the disbelief, the what if everything falls apart, we literally don't have room and we can't hear those little promptings, those little nudges, those small ideas that come, because that's how they come, is through small ways and through little whispers. And so we're taught to just scramble and hustle and go as fast as we can. And we're taught this scarcity approach. But here's something that I've learned through years and years and years of study about universal laws, is that one of the laws is the law of vibration and the law of attention. You get what you focus on, and what you focus on expands. And so if we are focused so much on the obstacle, so much on the problem, so much on the catastrophe, you're going to get a greater intensity of whatever it is that you're focused on. And then if we've got all of those emotions that's backing behind it, it's why so many people pray, but they pray without faith, or they blame God on, I prayed and nothing changed. It's because, well, how were we approaching the situation in the first place? Were we begging? Were we pleading? Were we bargaining? Were we really not believing that God would help us? Were we in a whole lot of doubt and in a ton of fear and terror? It's very difficult to create reality we want on our terms and insist that life meet us on our terms when we're filled with that and when we're consumed by that. And that was the firsthand experience that I had. We're taught how to do this. We're conditioned to do this. So lay down any blame or any duh, what's wrong with me? Lay all of that down, because we're conditioned to do this. We're certainly conditioned by society to live this way, because it is a whole lot easier to control a person who's in fear, who is not connected to their power, who feels powerless and victimized, than it is to control somebody who has a sense of self, who has a sense of who they are and the role they play, who feels empowered, and who knows that they're not alone in this. Much more difficult to try to control somebody that way. And, and if we want to take a really simple experience, if you've ever had a toddler before who's out of control, what do we naturally do to try to control them? Instill them with fear. Do you want me to spank you? When your dad gets home, you're going to get it. We threaten, I'm going to leave you and never come back. We try to control through fear. And it's what we're taught. It's what we know. But we need to unlearn that, or simply choose another way. We get to change our default. If we really want life to meet us on our terms, and we really want to experience what we came here to experience, which at our bottom line is more and more and more joy to greater and greater and greater extents. It's really why we're here. So we want to first understand how we're approaching life most of the time, and then what we can do to shift that approach. I'm all about small little tweaks, really small tweaks. It's not these massive 180-degree pivots, because those feel so daunting. Those feel impossible. But if I can just tweak just a tiny little bit, if I can just make a short little tiny adjustment here, and that adjustment is going to make me feel a little bit better, well, then I can do that. I can handle that. And so that's how the prosperity approach was born. There's a couple of parts to the prosperity approach. The first part is harnessing the power of your thoughts. And the second part is leveraging the power of the universe. It's one of the ways that you let go of the heavy lifting. It's one of the ways that you let go of micromanaging the journey and getting all tangled up in the how. It's what allowed you to experience that joy in the journey, but also feeling like you are a very strong asset here in creating your life. You have so much more influence than you think. You have so much more pull than you think. And you don't have to manipulate anyone. You don't have to manipulate yourself. You don't have to get all sort of control freak on anybody or anything except you and what's going on in here. So control freaks, rejoice. You get to go all kinds of control freak, but we got to put the control on the things that can be controlled. And the only thing that it was completely within your power to control goes on right here between your temples. And so it's really exciting, because that's really the only thing that you want to control anyway. All right, so let's dive deep into this. Let's unpack these different parts of the prosperity approach so that you can feel like, oh my word, I can do this. I can actually do this no matter where you are. And remember, you might be at rock bottom in a really, really hurting place, but you also might be in a really fabulous place, but you want to get to that next level with ease and with joy and with delight and being dazzled all along the way. We want to enhance that experience, all right? So this approach will work regardless of where you are in your journey. So the first thing that you want to do to harness the power of your thoughts is claim what it is you want without apology or justification. That's one of the hardest things for people to do, is to claim what is going on in their heart and what their heart is telling them to do. We have such a hard time with that, especially where money is concerned, because there's just so much crappy energy around money and so many weird beliefs around money, and it's rolling our life and what we do. And I'll do another episode down the road about what money actually is and how it actually works. But we got to start claiming what it is we want without apology apology. And one of the things that really helped me to do this is by understanding that those desires that are placed in my heart are placed there by divinity. They're placed there by a God who knows me and loves me and knows what is going to not only bring me the most joy, but also bring the most joy to those people I connect with. It's a double blessing for everyone. Instead of me thinking, well, I just must be greedy and selfish because I really love money. I really love what money can do for me. I love the way I can use money to help other people. I realize me just saying that I love money probably triggered somebody out there, but you got to understand really how money works. Money is just a tool to help you grow. And so I love tools that will help me to grow. If I'm building a home, I want to love the tools that really help my home to be built really fast in the proper way and that is strong and has a really strong foundation. And that's all money is. It's just a tool. And so when I realized that was placed in me by divinity to understand how money works, to teach others how money actually works, and that it's really here to bless your life, and that I don't need to apologize for it anymore. I just need to know how it works and how I work relative to it, because money can corrupt, and it can corrupt very, very quickly. And so it's a very, very powerful tool. It's why we want it in the hands of the right people. And I want the right people to understand how money actually works so that you can become even more powerful with it, powerful to do good and to bless others' lives and to bless your life as well. So no matter what that is, if that's a business that you want to develop, if that's a talent that you want to develop and grow and share with others, if it's a skill you want to learn, whatever that is, first and foremost, understand that that was planted in you by divinity. Now, my God is not cruel, and your God isn't cruel either. And I can't imagine a God that would place a desire within my heart and then not give me a way for me to bring that desire into my reality. It makes no sense to me whatsoever to have a God say, well, there you go, but good luck developing it. And don't ask me for any help. Are you out of your mind? Do you see what else is going on in the world? Your piddly little thing that you want to buy a car with cash, whatever that is. Like, don't expect any help from me. Like, that is insanity. That's insane to me. That makes absolutely no sense. If the God of your understanding is love and is benevolent and wants you to experience the fullness of his love and joy and wealth and abundance and riches, and that is the God of my understanding, then it makes no sense that he would give me a desire, but then tell me I was all on my own to develop that desire, to bring that desire into physical form, and to not expect any help from him, or for me to be shamed that I have that desire in the first place. So it's about claiming it. It's about claiming it without apology and without justifying it. For a very long time, I would pray for money and then I would bargain with the Lord about it. I'll share it with others and I'll do so much good with it. And it was kind of like this pleading to trust me with money. Now, I was in my young 20s when I did this. And so it was from the sincerity of my heart for sure, but I was still in this bargaining kind of position, trying to justify it. Like, here's why it's okay. And yet, if I can just claim it, this is what I want, and this is why I want it. I want to bless my life. I want to bless my children's lives. I want to bless the planet. I want to bring good. I want people to understand how it actually works so that they can heal their relationship with money. They can heal scarcity. They can heal poverty. Poverty to me is a disease. It's a sickness. Abundance and wealth isn't. That's a cure. And there is so much for everyone to go around. Plenty. Me getting more doesn't mean you get less, and you getting more doesn't mean that I get less. And so we need to just claim what it is that we want. That's the first thing to do. The second thing that you need to do in harnessing the power of your thoughts in relation to the prosperity approach is you must grow your wealth consciousness and you must grow your skills. You've got to grow your inner game skills, and many times you must grow your outer game skills as well. However, of those two, inner game or outer game, the ones you focus on are your inner game, because the outer game skills will be given to you, meaning the opportunities that are going to be the easiest and fastest and most joyful for you to skill up in whatever industry you're in, those will come to you as you skill up in your inner game and you play that game to win instead of playing it not to lose. All of the hows and all of those other ways that you can skill up will come to you very naturally and actually quite quickly. But you also must grow your wealth consciousness. We've got to get out of that scarcity consciousness and get into wealth and prosperity consciousness. And that is really, really fun to do. Not as easy as you may think, but it's a wonderful way to spend your time. Another thing that you must do is stay in the correct state of mind. There are two very particular states of mind, and we live in one or the other at all times. And so we've got to be in the correct state of mind. And more than anything, you must change your subconscious beliefs and programs. That is the end all be all, because that's what creates your reality. We have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, and our conscious mind works to get results. It's why we're like, I'm a grown-up adult. Of course I'm worthy and deserving of this goal that I want. Of course I'm enough. Of course I have the skills. Of course what I have to offer is immensely valuable to others. Like, we think that, but the subconscious mind, which is the part of our mind that creates our entire reality, like literally, it runs the whole show. Well, that mind works to manifest our beliefs. And of the two, you will always, always, always manifest your beliefs over your results. So conscious mind works to manifest results. Subconscious mind works to manifest beliefs. You will always manifest your beliefs 100% of the time. So if you want to know what your beliefs are, look at what your results are, and they will always mirror each other. Your results will tell you what your beliefs are. So we've got to change those subconscious beliefs and those programs that are running the whole show. So that's your part right there, harnessing the power of your thoughts. And the second part of the prosperity approach is leveraging the power of the universe. And there are very specific things that you must do in order to leverage the power of the universe. First and foremost, you got to know the rules of engagement. You got to know what the universal laws are that govern prosperity and creation, and know how they show up in your life, and start obeying those laws and activating those laws. Because whether or not you understand the law or obey the law, you're going to get the penalty that is attached to the law if you violate it, and you're going to get the reward that's attached to the law if you obey it. It's as simple as that. So you got to know what those rules are. And those rules are as certain and as trustworthy as gravity. They work 100% of the time for 100% of people, and it does not matter how morally good or morally bad you are. If you follow the law, obey the law, you will get the reward that's attached to the law. So you've got to know what those are. And then you've got to actually know how to use the tools of faith and trust and gratitude and other spiritual truths that are not just theories, and they're not just principles, though they are principles. They are literal energy. It has a little literal frequency. It's a literal tool that you use to leverage the power of the universe. And most people use these incorrectly. We use them as tools of manipulation rather than the tools of creation that they are. When you understand these laws and you understand the universal laws and you use them in very practical ways in your life, what you do is you open yourself up to receiving things like coincidence, serendipity, being in the right place at the right time, making the right connections. It's when you start living and working and playing in the realm of the miraculous. This is not just like the let go and let God, where most people they think let go means don't do anything and just let God take care of it all. That's not the spiritual we don't want to take a spiritual bypass that way. We want to let go of the things that are beyond our control anyway and let God do the heavy lifting as we are doing our part. And we have a very specific part that's ours and a very specific part that's God's. And when you understand what your part is and you do your part and only your part, and then you understand what God's part is and you let God and the universe work in their realm, which is so much bigger than yours. And I mean, you want to talk miraculous. Holy cow. God and the universe don't work in time. They work in timing. And so it allows you to let it all work out. It allows you to let it unfold, and it prepares you to be dazzled and delighted and just thrilled no matter what is going on. And here's the other thing. life throws curveballs at us. It's part of this mortal experience. And so it's not that you'll never have challenges again. It's not that you'll never have heartbreak again. It's not that things will always work to 100% whatever you do from here on out. That's not what it is. We still have mortality that we're in, and we still have the free agency of other people that come into play. We still have conditions that are beyond our control, that we are influenced by. However, you still have immense influence over the experience you're going to have and how quickly and gracefully and smoothly you go through those rough patches. I've applied the prosperity approach when I have been in devastation, when my heart has been broken by choices loved ones of mine have made, or by opportunities that were ripped away because of global pandemics and choices of other people. And so like all of those have still played in. I've had strategies I've employed that have not worked to the degree that I wanted them to work to and that I expected them to be successful at. And rather than me going into what's wrong with me? This is just proof that nothing works, which is where I would have gone before. I can look back and say, all right, there are things that worked and there are things that didn't, and there are things we get to improve upon. And where's the gold in this? Where are the jewels in this? Where is all the wealth in this because it's here? And then we can brush ourselves off and continue to move forward with that ease and grace and joy, even while feeling sadness, even while feeling disappointment from time to time, even in the midst of uncertainty, you can still have certainty. One of the most beautiful quotes I've ever heard, and I don't know who wrote it or I would give them credit, but it says, I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds the future. And that has brought me so much comfort. And with what I have learned in designing the prosperity approach about what my part is and about what God's part is and what the universe's part is and all of the different moving pieces, because it's very simple, but there are a lot of moving pieces into next level mastery of up-leveling and redesigning your life, but they're very simple. And it allows you to feel peace no matter what is going on, to feel certainty, to feel connected, to be in that beautiful state of being that we are all after anyway, rather than the constant busyness of doing. And when we can marry the two, the proper being, which leads to the inspired doing and the inspired action, then it creates prosperity within us that then moves out from us. And before too long, your physical reality has to shift, and it does. It's how it works every single time. Now, one thing that is required is you must be consistent. What I found is I had a hunger. I had a hunger to really dial in on prosperity and the inner workings of prosperity and pulling that thing apart so that I could take a look at all the pieces, put it back together, and then let it run again. I loved doing that. And I'm doing it so you don't have to. So you can just pick up all of the different pieces that are in play and run with them and see what happens within you and without of you. Meaning what happens inside you and also how your circumstances shift because of that. But it does take consistency. It takes a level of hunger and determination that you're not going to settle for mediocrity anymore because you know you're not a mediocre person. And you know that you are destined for greatness and you're destined for either more than you have now or what you have now to a greater degree. And you have so much influence over that, so much more than you realize. And you have so much more power than you realize. And when we can harness that, life becomes sweet no matter what is going on. Life becomes magical and miraculous no matter what is going on. You find it so much easier to stay in the present moment. You find it so much easier to be in that play and in that pleasure and in that curiosity and in that level of experimenting. Things that I wouldn't allow myself to do before because I felt that they were a waste of time. If I wasn't working, it didn't count. If I wasn't beating on myself, it didn't count. If I wasn't pounding the pavement and pounding myself into the ground and efforting myself into the ground, for some reason, it didn't count. And yet, it wasn't getting me where I wanted to go. Not at the speed I wanted to go, and certainly not with the grace and the ease and the joy that I wanted along the way. And now those are the qualities I require along the way. And you do get to call the shots. The prosperity approach, when you are unavailable for status quo any longer, when you will no longer tolerate that, and you are willing to do whatever it is that's required of you to do to experience life the way you want to experience, to create the change that you long for, to create the experiences and the money and the influence and the change, like whatever it is that you want. That's what the prosperity approach offers. And it's what I am passionate about teaching ambitious, God-centered women such as you, and some ambitious, God-centered, really special men as well, that are willing to do whatever it takes and whatever is required to break chains, to end cycles of fear and terror and scarcity and poverty and not enoughness and lack, and who are willing to be the pioneers in that within their family, within their circle of influence, and being able to grow that and being willing to grow that. It's what I am here to do. This is what it looks like to play the inner game to win instead of playing it not to lose. And this is the only game you must win in order to redesign your reality. And so, to be able to help as many people as I can, I created a free online challenge that I run regularly. It's called the Prosperity Experience. I want to teach you how to grow your wealth consciousness, how to untangle from the house, how to live in that proper state of mind consistently, what it looks like to change your subconscious programs, using the power of gratitude, the superpower of certainty, getting out of doubt. And we spend 5 days together online in the Prosperity Experience Facebook group that comes with a playbook. It comes with real life examples and real tools that you can use that are designed to weave into your life and create massive breakthroughs very, very quickly. 100% free. And I would love to play with you and share this, not just this philosophy, but this way of living that changes your entire life. So this feels like something that would be a good fit for you, something that is fun and powerful all at the same time. Then join me. Go to prosperityapproach.com/challenge. That's prosperityapproach.com/challenge and register for our next challenge. We've got another one coming up here very shortly. And in the meantime, get yourself into the Facebook group. I'm in there every Wednesday doing Facebook Lives, giving prosperity tips. We're in there playing, and it's such an amazingly supportive community that I would love for you to get in there and start playing with us, start connecting so we can share celebrations and victories with you and help you get out of your own way, lay down the struggle, manifest your dreams, and most importantly, love life as you go. So join me in the online challenge, the Prosperity Experience, at prosperityapproach.com/challenge. We'll see you there, and we'll see you next time on the Prosperity Approach podcast. Bye-bye.